So, to be honest, I'm a little confused right now. On one hand, Bitcoin looks extremely, extremely bullish, and I do think that we could hit maybe six figures sometime in 2022. On the other hand, I'm very, very cautious because the technicals don't look so good. So, basically, in summary, we're in between these two lines, right? The blue line and the peach line. That's the 20 weekly moving average and the 100 week moving average. And basically, every single time we've been in a setup like that, we've almost went lower. We've almost always went lower. So this is 2018. We went lower in that same setup, and over here in 2014, similar setup in between the two lines, and we headed much lower. So because of that, I thought that we were for sure gonna head lower, but that it wasn't until I saw this back in 2019 we were in a similar setup. So you can imagine. Let's turn back time, and let's say you were looking at the charts something like this, right? Setup's pretty similar. You would have thought that this was probably going to go lower, but it didn't. It actually went higher, and so I understand that this happened, and so you might think the pattern once again proved to be correct, but this is just a COVID crash, and I think considering the amount of bullishness that we saw as soon as this was over, I think what happened here should have happened over here if it wasn't for COVID, which was like, one time in a century like event. So I think that I don't really know exactly what's going to happen, because if you really think about it, on two occasions Bitcoin went lower, and on one occasion Bitcoin went higher. And keep in mind, what the thing that seems to seal the deal is if these two indicators cross. So crossed over there, and then crossed over here, and that's kind of led Bitcoin to go much lower. The one time that it didn't cross over here, that's when we had a giant bull run. So I think what it really comes down to is whether these two lines cross or not, and if it does cross, I think it's going to be very, very bad for Bitcoin. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to get into was the 20 monthly moving average. So it's the exact same thing as what I just showed you. The setup is once we start hitting it as support, we go lower. We start hitting it as support, go lower. And so notice that on this occasion, we were hitting a support, but then we actually went higher. So now we find ourselves in, again, the same situation. We're hitting it as support. And on two occasions, we went lower, but on the last occasion, we went higher. So you gotta understand, I hope you guys understand, like, I'm not very sure on what's gonna happen. It's literally, I'm just crossing my fingers and hope Bitcoin goes up, because it could really go either way. Just looking at the historical trends and the historical patterns. So the last point that I want to point out is the bull market support band shown by Benjamin Cohen. I give full credit to him. And it's basically the idea is that, if we manage to get above this blue line here and we bounce off of it and we use it as support, that usually means we're headed towards another bull run in Bitcoin, or another leg up in the bull run. So you can see here that we're starting to hit it as resistance. So I could totally expect us to start, going down a little bit and start fighting. And just to give a couple examples of what that would look like, something like this, right? Hitting the top resistance, and we try to go above it. There's just this big battle around it. So you see again here that if we do manage to get above it and hit it as support, and we do something like a bounce like that, that's usually extremely bullish. So for the time being, I'm expecting some resistance. I'm expecting a lot of chop. Well, we've already been in a lot of chop, but even more chop, specifically around this area. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I'm just going to draw what I think could happen. The line does this, and like the price of Bitcoin would go like bounce and go up. So that's my dream scenario. That's what I want to happen. But for now, I can't say that I am extremely bullish on Bitcoin. I would definitely have a forecast here saying Bitcoin's going to hit new all-time highs, but I can't do that because the technicals are really, really iffy. So the next 2 months will probably determine the trajectory of Bitcoin, and I will be patiently waiting. So that was the video for today. If you guys please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.